Did you know there's a silent thief that could be stealing your cardiovascular health right now, even if you don't put a single pinch of salt in your food? Imagine the story of Arthur, a 52-year-old man who followed all the classic recommendations to the letter. He removed the salt shaker from the table, started walking, and even lost some weight, but to his surprise and frustration, every time the doctor put that device on his arm, the numbers stubbornly remained high. What Arthur didn't know is that while he was guarding the front door, locking away the salt, 7 invisible enemies were entering through the back door, sabotaging his arteries in a way most people are unaware of. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover today could be the missing piece of your health puzzle. Hello, welcome. I'm Robert Tournier, an educator and researcher dedicated to prevention and longevity for over 20 years. My purpose here on this channel is to translate complex science into language you can understand, trust, and most importantly, apply to your daily life to live longer and better. We have an unwavering commitment to the truth. All the content I bring you undergoes rigorous analysis, based solely on the most current and well-founded scientific research. Before we delve deeper, I need to make an important disclaimer with all the cordiality and transparency that our relationship demands. This content is purely educational and informative. It never replaces consultation, diagnosis, or treatment with your trusted doctor. Our mission is to equip you with knowledge so you can have more intelligent conversations with the professionals who care for you. And since we're talking about blood pressure, I want to know from you. Have you ever felt that even doing everything right, your blood pressure seems to have a mind of its own? Write in the comments, I've felt this before. So I know we're not alone. Go ahead and check if you've already liked this video. It really helps our prevention message reach those who need it. Share this video in your family group because information saves lives. Don't leave this video. I'm going to tell you a secret I call the golden secret of longevity. Paper and pen in hand, let's continue our conversation today. Let's return to Arthur's case, which serves as a perfect case study to illustrate our first silent enemy, which is much sweeter and more treacherous than we imagine. Arthur, in an attempt to be healthy, swapped French bread for processed fit yogurts, drank a lot of boxed natural fruit juice, and loved cereal bars. What nobody told him is that excess processed fructose is one of the biggest villains of high blood pressure, acting in a fascinating and frightening biochemical way. Unlike glucose, which all the body's cells use as energy, fructose is metabolized almost exclusively by the liver. When you flood your body with this fructose, and I'm not talking about whole fruit with fiber, but rather juices, syrups, and sweets, the liver expends enormous energy to process it. This process generates a byproduct called uric acid. And here's the big secret that few people tell you. Uric acid doesn't just cause gout or joint pain, it inhibits the production of a magical molecule in your arteries called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as a natural relaxant for your blood vessels. It signals the arteries to open and relax. When uric acid rises because of sugar, it shuts down this production and your arteries become stiff, narrow. Arthur was unknowingly rusting his blood pressure control system with healthy foods full of hidden sugar. This brings us to a second enemy operating in Arthur's life without him realizing it, something that modern science calls noise pollution, but which I like to call the alarm that never turns off. Arthur lived on a busy street, but said he had gotten used to the noise of the cars at night. The problem is that even if his consciousness was asleep, his brain continued to hear it. Recent studies show that nighttime noises, even those that don't wake us up, activate the amygdala, the brain's center for fear and stress. This triggers a chronic release of cortisol and adrenaline during sleep, the exact moment when your cardiovascular system should be in deep rest and repair. It's as if Arthur's body were running a marathon while he dreamed. This constant state of alertness keeps the vessels constricted and the heart working harder than necessary, preventing that natural nighttime dip in blood pressure, known in medicine as dipping. If you don't have this nighttime vascular rest, your arteries age much faster. And Arthur's situation was complicated by a third enemy, one that lives within us: intestinal dysbiosis. It seems strange to link the gut to the heart, but the connection is direct and powerful. Arthur didn't eat enough vegetables, focusing only on refined proteins and carbohydrates. This starved the good bacteria in his gut. These friendly bacteria, when fed with fiber, produce substances called short-chain fatty acids, which act as chemical messengers that travel to the kidneys and blood vessels to lower blood pressure. Without these bacteria, Arthur's gut was populated by inflammatory bacteria that release toxins into the bloodstream, increasing vascular stiffness. This is what we call leaky gut, where the protective barrier fails and allows substances that irritate the entire circulatory system to pass through. Therefore, the lack of fiber in Arthur's diet was not just a digestive problem. It was a hypertensive crisis being manufactured in his abdomen. Another crucial point that Arthur ignored was the hidden hunger for minerals, specifically magnesium and potassium. He focused so much on removing sodiums that he forgot to replenish potassium. Our cells function like a pump. Imagine a revolving door. For sodium to leave the cell, potassium needs to enter. If you don't eat dark leafy greens, avocado, or seeds, you don't have enough potassium to push the sodium out. The result? Sodium gets trapped inside the arterial wall cell, attracting water and causing the cell to swell, which narrows the vessel from the inside. It's a simple hydraulic mechanism. Narrower pipe, higher pressure. Arthur was swollen at the cellular level, not from eating salt, but from not eating the antidotes to salt. Continuing Arthur's saga, we discover that his battle wasn't just against what was on his plate, but against how he lived and even how he breathed. This brings us to the fifth enemy, perhaps the most dangerous because it attacks when you are most vulnerable. Hidden sleep apnea. Arthur snored a little, which his wife thought was normal, but what was really happening was a collapse in his throat dozens of times a night. Each time the air stopped passing through, his brain panicked due to lack of oxygen and triggered a violent adrenaline surge. Imagine that. While he slept, Arthur's body was fighting for its life as if it were fleeing from a lion. This prevented his blood pressure from dropping during the night, a dangerous phenomenon that doctors call non-dipping. If your blood pressure doesn't drop while you sleep, your arteries never rest. And the scariest thing is that you don't need to be overweight to have this. Sometimes it's just the anatomy of your throat. This connects us directly to the sixth enemy, which is purely emotional but with devastating physical effects: loneliness and social stress. Arthur retired and, without realizing it, lost daily contact with his colleagues. He felt isolated. Science has discovered something fascinating. Loneliness increases peripheral vascular resistance. The brain interprets social isolation as a threat to survival, activating defense mechanisms that constrict blood vessels to prepare the body for an imaginary fight. It's as if loneliness were a vasoconstrictor hormone. The feeling of not belonging or not being heard generates a chronic inflammatory state that hardens the arteries as much as cigarettes. Arthur didn't just need medication, he needed human connection to relax his vascular system. And finally, the seventh and most surprising enemy, which Arthur committed every minute: mouth breathing. Arthur breathed through his mouth while reading or watching TV. What he didn't know is that the nose is not just an air filter, but a natural medicine factory. His sinuses produce a miraculous gas called nitric oxide. When you inhale through your nose, you draw this gas into your lungs, where it opens blood vessels and increases blood oxygenation by up to 15%. By breathing through his mouth, Arthur was throwing away this free natural vasodilator. He was literally robbing himself of the ability to lower blood pressure with each breath. He became a nitric oxide thief without knowing it. Now, the good news. Arthur changed the game, and you can too. And he applied what we call the Vascular Rescue Protocol, based on 4 powerful natural pillars. First, he introduced the juice of life, 250 ml of raw beetroot juice daily. Beetroot is rich in inorganic nitrates which, upon contact with saliva, note, do not use mouthwash, as it kills the bacteria in the mouth that perform this conversion, transform into nitrite and then into nitric oxide in the blood, dilating the arteries as if by physiological magic. Secondly, he adopted hibiscus tea, but in the right dose, 2 to 3 cups a day. Studies have compared hibiscus to first-line medications, showing that its anthocyanins act as natural inhibitors of the ACE enzyme, the same enzyme that many pharmacy medications block to relax blood vessels. It's God's pharmacy working in your kitchen. The third step was isometric hand grip exercises. Arthur bought one of those spring-loaded hand grips and did 4 sets of 2 minutes squeezing with 30% of his maximum strength, resting between sets. It seems too simple, but this exercise generates a phenomenon called endothelial shear. By momentarily restricting blood flow and then releasing it, you train the artery wall to release a surge of vasodilators. It's like weight training for the inner lining of your veins. And lastly, Arthur learned to breathe. He practiced the 4 to 7, 8 technique before bed. He inhaled through his nose, counting to 4, held his breath for 7, and exhaled through his mouth, making a blowing sound for 8 seconds. This isn't mysticism, it's pure physiology. This rhythm forces the parasympathetic nervous system to take over, slowing the heart and relaxing the blood vessels. By combining these strategies, Arthur not only saw his numbers drop, but also regained his energy and vitality. If you want to start today, choose one of these changes and implement it. Your heart will thank you, and so will your future. Now I'm going to reveal the secret I've saved for last. I want to share with you what I call the golden secret of longevity, something that costs pennies but is worth millions for your cardiovascular health. We've talked about beetroot and hibiscus, but there's a humble seed that, in several clinical studies, has demonstrated an impressive power to help control blood pressure. The linseed, but be warned, there's a trick here that most people get wrong. The flaxseed husk is made of a very tough cellulose that our stomachs cannot digest. If you eat the whole seed, it enters and leaves your body without delivering its benefits. The secret is to consume 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, crushed, preferably freshly ground, or stored in a dark container in the refrigerator. Why is this so valuable? Because flaxseed is the richest plant-based source of a fat called alpha-linolenic acid. the plant-based omega-3, and lignans. This powerful combination works to reduce inflammation in the inner walls of your arteries and improve vascular elasticity. A famous study, known as FlaxPAD trial studies, have shown that patients who regularly used ground flaxseed experienced significant drops in systolic and diastolic blood pressure. It's real food, acting as a natural remedy. So, the challenge of the week is, sprinkle this magic flour on your fruit, yogurt, or salad every day. If this content opened your eyes and brought value to your life, then that's the mission of our channel being fulfilled. I'm Robert Tournier, and it was an honor to have your company on this journey of prevention. Remember, longevity isn't luck, it's a daily construction. If you're not yet part of our community, click the subscribe button and activate the bell, because in the next video, I'll reveal the foods that cleanse the liver and that you probably have in your refrigerator right now. A big hug, take care of your heart, and until next time,